And suddenly, the food is on fire. And suddenly,
go.
the food is on fire. The food is on fire. And suddenly, the food is on fire. The food is on fire. The food is on fire.
Go. Get some medication for your bipolar personality.
And suddenly, the food is on fire. And suddenly,
go.
the food is on fire. The food is on fire. And suddenly, the food is on fire. The food is on fire. The food is on fire. The food is on fire.
Go. Get some medication for your bipolar personality. Hello, people of YouTube land. Thanks for coming in, hanging out with me today. Hello, Skinner. Hello. I don't know why I can't see my comments, but once again, I can't. Let me pull up my other page. Oh, no, I don't want to leave the site. Thank you, YouTube. So what's going on, everybody? Thank you for coming in, hanging out. 4 people in the house. It's the most I've had in a while. Thank you all for being here, hanging out with me. I just woke up and had some breakfast and decided to go live on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Not really. It's not beautiful out. It is horrible. Rainy and disgusting. Like nobody wants to go out in this crap. I don't know what it's like where you are, but it's horrible here. Hey, Gail. Thanks for coming in. Hold on. Let me pull up my other chat here. I don't know what's going on. Like I can't read anything on my... And I can't find my own live. That's pretty bad. You can't find your own live. Can't. There it is. Boom. Found it. Give me a thumbs up. There were 4 people in here originally, so make sure you give me a thumbs up. I actually got a message from Lewis the other day. He text messaged me, and he's like, why don't you, sorry if you can't see me very well, but if I have a light on, it reflects on my glasses, and I look like a freaking alien. Hey, Huga. Thanks for coming in. CB. What's up? Anyway, Lewis messaged me the other day. He's like, why don't you do a live about onions and potatoes? Okay. And so I thought we could do that and we could talk about onions and potatoes a little bit. I am not good at planting onions and I'm not good at potatoes either, but we could talk about it. So let's do that. Sorry. In the meantime, I'm going to be eating my yogurt. Okay. Okay. By the way, if you haven't had these, this is like the best yogurt on the face of the planet. It is. Oh, I forgot I'm mirrored. That's kind of awkward, isn't it? Hold on. Let me change that up. There. I'm not mirrored anymore. Okay. This is the best yogurt I've ever had. If you've ever had it, it's wonderful. It's not in a plastic container. That's what I'm about. No plastic, because it makes everything taste like shit. So, yeah, it's the best yogurt I've ever had. And they have multiple different things. I don't like chocolate in my yogurt. I don't like chocolate at all. So they have like ones that have chocolate in them and whatever, but so yeah. So here's the link if you want to come up and we can talk about peas. I got peas on the brain now. We could talk about onions and we can talk about potatoes. I know Lewis said he didn't know like the best way to plant a potato and how to cut out the eyes and whatever. And this is what I know, and I'm not an expert by all means, but I've grown potatoes for several years and been extremely unsuccessful. Not successful at all. Okay. So what I have done is I buy a bag of buying seed potatoes is just as easy as letting potatoes go wild in your basement, because I've had that happen before too. Hello, Lewis. There he is. Hello. Thanks for coming on. I've had potatoes go completely ridiculous in my basement because I forgot about them. So then they would grow. So you could plant those as well, and those would be a little bit easier. However, if you buy seed potatoes, you can do several things with them. Okay, you can plant them as a whole, or you can chop them up. Hello, Lewis's doggy. What's up? Hey, our treasured home. Thanks for coming in, hanging out with us. We are going to be talking about potatoes and onions. Okay, so you can also I have bought a bag of seed potatoes. Hey, Prepper 101. What's up, dude? Thanks for coming in. And okay, so they ask you on the packages when you get them to harden them off. Okay. So you do that. You let them sit out for, I don't know, however long the package tells you. So you harden them off and you can lay them out. I put them in I have like a 3-seasoned room, and I put them in there and just kind of let them harden off. And then there's going to be little eyes on your potatoes. Okay. And depending on those eyes, you can chop those up. Okay. Now, you don't want to. I've done it both ways. This is the part that's hard. I really would like to get monetized to help other people get hours. Oh, okay. Sure. If you guys can go over to Hookah and help her out with her hours and maybe, I don't know, have her on replay. So, or, and play her playlists. That's another thing. It's like really, really important to have playlists. And I know I have trouble with Joe. Like, he's not very organized sometimes. I'm not a very organized person either, but I like to put everything in categories. That way people can watch one giant playlist of stuff. So that helps you with your hours too. There's a little, I can't really go into it right now because I'm talking about potatoes and onions, but yeah, that's something to think about. Sorry, I'm eating my yogurt. Okay, so we're talking about potatoes and onions. So you harden off your potatoes, and once you do that, you'll see the little eyes on them. Some of them have a lot of eyes, some of them don't. It always upset me when I didn't have a lot of eyes on there because I didn't really know how to separate them and whatever. And then you can cut off that eye, and then you can plant that eye and make lots of potatoes out of that sack of potatoes. Okay. You can do that, or you can plant one whole potato. I've done that too. And honestly, I haven't really got anything out of either one of them. I suck at potatoes. I haven't been able to grow a decent amount. Now I'd grow potatoes, but they would only be like this big, so they're not even worth anything. And so, yeah, you can do it that way. Sorry, I'm eating. You can also put them in different containers too, and you can also put them in the ground. I put them in my raised beds. When I put them in my raised beds, I've gotten bigger potatoes, but I'd only get one, which sucked. But when I put them in, like, I had grow bags, I put them in the grow bags, and I'd get lots of little teeny potatoes. And then I did a trash can one because I saw somebody do a trash can potatoes. And so we went out, I bought a brand new trash can for this. We filled it up with all different kinds of stuff. Not all the way to the top, but as they grew, we added more dirt in. Okay. And we did all that. And I have a video on it. We only got little teeny, little weeny potatoes. I know that potatoes need a lot of nutrients, so that could probably also be another issue. But I think I really, really liked growing them in the ground versus growing them in containers. I seem to have gotten bigger potatoes when I grew them. I didn't really grow them in the ground. I grew them in my raised beds, but I liked them better that way. But yeah, so something to think about there too. Now, what do potatoes need? They need lots of nutrients. So I'm going to go and actually look it up because I can't think right now. Potatoes need lots of different types of things. What do potatoes need to grow well? Okay, so they need well-drained soil. That's obvious. That's why you can put them, easily grow them in grow bags and stuff like that. Grow bags drain really, really well. In fact, they almost drain too well. I've had issues with grow bags in the past where I had a great idea. I was going to grow all these peppers in these grow bags. I had like 30 grow bags because you can easily buy them on Amazon. You could buy like a 20 pack of them for like $30 or less. And like have a shit ton of grow bags. So that's fine and all. So I put my grow bags out. My problem is it drained too much. I would water and it was like I didn't even water. And I don't really like grow bags because of this experience I had. Is that a chicken? What are you doing? Are you trying to play with me? So that was my experience with grow bags. I wasn't really too all impressed with that. Still not all that impressed with that. I'd rather just have a pot. That and the black grow bags got excessively hot. I didn't like that either. The sun beating down on them. It just wasn't good for me. Now, you may have a person that gardens on their porch or whatever, and it works out for them because they might be in a shaded area. They might have more protection from the sun from their house or something like that, and that's fine. I just my experience with grow bags wasn't very great. So, okay. Potatoes. They need full sun. You need well-drained soil, and it says that you need acidic soil. So those are the main three things that you should probably have for your potatoes. And that's okay. Do that. And it's easier to control the acidity of your soil when you have it in a bag versus me having planted them in my raised beds. So that's something to think about. What is the best fertilizer for your potatoes? And that would be phosphates, bone meal. And everybody's like, this is the part where it gets tricky because I know on Grow Big we talk about the soil all the time and how important the soil is, but it's really hard when you're planting separately in grow bags and stuff like that. Like, you almost have to put liquid fertilizer in there. So you don't really have a choice. So it's different when I have it in my raised beds. In my raised beds, I have them for specific things. I have them set up. The soil is it's not 100% perfect, but it's getting there. It's taken me years to develop that, guys, not just overnight. So, so they need phosphate, which would be something like bone meal and stuff like that. And so I had an issue. I told you guys this, that I have an issue with my wisteria outside. Hey, Shawnee Shab, thanks for coming in. I have an issue with my wisteria outside. And with that being said, somebody said that I might need more phosphates. And that's fine. I've had this thing for 5 years and it's never bloomed or anything like that. It's so freaking annoying. So I went out and I bought bone meal, phosphate. By the way, it's almost at, I forget what it is. It's 0.17. I think that's what the number said. So it has a lot. So I dumped that. But I was reading on the bag and it says that you need 1 to 2 pounds of it to put on your plant. I'm like, 1 to 2 pounds? This is nuts. I thought that was kind of weird. Hello, William of Ravenshire. Thanks for coming in. And so, yeah, I just thought that was weird. So anyway, yesterday, and it's probably really getting it today because we got rain, and I put a ton of that bone meal on it. Like, I just dumped like half the bag on it, and it rained today, so I'm sure it's like really getting into the soil today. So hopefully I get something. If not, I have a really cool vining plant that it gets wonderful foliage, but it just never blooms. Like, okay, whatever floats its boat. I'm giving it what it needs. I swear. So, anyway, potatoes. Lots of potatoes. I need Serena in here with the good potato jokes. Okay. What do potatoes need when they are growing? There is a pH level, but how many gardeners really, like, just your flyby gardeners, they just love to grow. How many people are really testing the pH of their soil? Not a lot of people. So they need light, loose, and well-drained soil. Okay. And so if you can accomplish that, that's great. And you can put biochar in there if you like, because it would fluff it up, make it fluffier. You could use perlite, vermiculite in those bags, and I've used perlite. I'm not even testing my soil. I know better. Yeah, for reals. I get you. One year, my husband and I got a bunch of soil, and we got it on the cheap. And that the problem is where we got it, it was just topsoil. There was nothing. And I didn't know that. I did not know that when I bought it. So we put it in the beds, and I'm like, okay, so going to plant my stuff. Planted my stuff, and they did not get any bigger. There was nothing going on. Like, I was so pissed because, you take your time and planting everything and whatnot. And I was like, oh my God, I was so pissed. Really angry. So anyway, that's another issue, is trying to find soil. Okay, guys. So if you can, make your own. I got one of those cheap Walmart tests, and I am not good with following directions. Not even the slightest. So I got one of those tests, and I messed it up the first time. So I had to do it a second time. So I did it a second time, and I looked on the charts, and I'm like, oh my God, is this because I messed it up? Like, I was really confused. But no, it wasn't because I messed it up. There was nothing in that soil. Nothing. Not even a trace of nitrogen. Nothing. It was zero, and I was pissed. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, we just bought this soil. I don't know how much it was. It was like $200. We got a whole dumpster trail. We got a huge dump truck full of it. Okay. Oh, okay. Bye, treasured home. Thanks for coming in. Happy Easter.
You know what that would have cost in triple mix?
Oh, yeah, probably a ton of money. Yeah.
Better to buy it like that and then add your own stuff to it, whether it's organic or store-bought stuff, right? And then like your bone meal, blood meal, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And then add some manure, add some grass, some leaves, mulched up though, some wood chips.
That is the problem now, because it wasn't helping me out that year. So I talked to Uncle Al. He's like, put that salt on it, whatever. So I did that. And when I started doing that, my peppers took off. Thanks for coming in, Uncle Al. Appreciate you. So I started doing that. I put my friend at that time, she no longer has rabbits, but my friend at the time had like 600 rabbits. She did show rabbits, and she had a mound of rabbit poop. She would hire somebody to come in twice a week. Epsom salts. Thank you. Couldn't think of that. But she hired somebody to come in a couple times a week and clean out the rabbit bins. And then she would dump it in the back. She didn't have a garden or anything. So my husband and I went and filled up his truck with rabbit poop. We put a ton of rabbit poop in there. By the way, rabbit poop is really good because it's cold. It's not hot manure. And so you could put that on right away and get the effects right away, versus chicken poop, you have to wait. By the way, we interviewed Katrina Wolf, and she said that she put her fertilizers on in 2 to 3 months. No. Chicken manure, things like chicken manure, things that are hot, cow manure, things like that. You want to at least wait 6 months before you put those on your beds. You do not want to fry your plants. That would be horrible. You want to make sure. What?
You want to do that before the winter when
Yes.
you're adding all your stuff, because the winter, if you get snow like me and Courtney do, it'll compact it down and help break it down more and wash everything that's in it, the nitrates in it, into the ground a little more.
Am I missing something? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't read your comment. I need to buy worm castings. I don't have my worm farm going. Who sells it? Anybody sells it. I just went to my local place. We have like, it's called Petiti's Garden Center, Batagula's Garden Center. We have several places. It's a garden center. And I'm really lucky because Batagula's sell Happy Frog, which I really like. Their brands of stuff. They have all the fertilizers. They have a dealer that comes in, and they have mounds of Happy Frog bags that you can buy. It is expensive. It's $22 a bag. But I bought a giant bag, not just one of those little teeny bags. I bought a giant bag of worm castings, and I already put that on my peas. So check around, because you may find a better deal, and maybe go to your local gardening place and check that out. I try not to buy from Amazon or Walmart unless I absolutely have to, or if I can't find it anywhere else. But yeah.
There's another comment there. Gail Southern Living. Yeah. Don't be afraid to use grass clippings. It will start seeds, but every year that I do it, because I turn it over every year. Farmers do that depending upon, they call it deep. The farmers call it deep turnover, where they're doing it deeper than normal, because of that. Because of the some crops will give off a grass kind of thing, or start seeds themselves too. So every once in a while they'll dig it over, but deep down, like a foot or two down, and turn everything over and get the nutrients that's down there and turn it over, and get the grass seed. And it's also good nitrogen too.
So I had shit soil, guys. It was the worst. So I did what I could that year. Did the rabbit poop, did the Epsom salts, did what I could. I still got some stuff, but it wasn't near as much as what I wanted. So my husband and I decided that we'll start one bed at a time, and we're going to fix our soil. So the first bed that we did is we took a ton of grass clippings and we loaded that shit. I mean, we loaded it and mounted it on. We took all the compost that we could, put it on there. My husband put compost accelerator on there. We put ash from the fireplace. We did everything to that bed and let it sit all winter long. The next year, we knew that bed was going to have a shit ton of nitrogen. It was going to have so much nitrogen, you weren't going to be able to plant anything in there because it was going to burn it up. So what in the plant world can withstand that amount of nitrogen? Corn. Corn can, and sunflowers, right? So we planted the whole bed. I don't even eat that much corn. But I am grateful because I still have some of the little popcorns that I planted. We planted corn and sunflowers, and I was lucky because I did a seed swap and I had all these sunflowers. And so we just loaded that bed the next year with corn and sunflowers. And then the next year we were digging through the bed, and it was literally the best soil I've ever seen in a bed. It was great soil. It just took a long time for us to get it to that point. Thanks, Uncle Al, for coming in. It just took us a really long time to get it to that point, guys. And if you get crap soil, that's what you have to do. So once we did that, now I plant things in there. I've planted peas. I think I have peas and no. What do I have? We planted peppers and stuff in there. Hey, Guardian Fitness. Thanks for coming up. So we planted peppers and stuff in there and everything. And now it's great. And now it's a great bed and it has great soil and I don't have to worry about it. But and when we first got that soil, I was really, really concerned. I was like, what the hell are we going to do? We got really, really crappy soil. So that's something to think about. The grass clippings really worked, but we mounded the grass clippings. We have 2.5 acres. My mom has 3.5 acres. And between mowing our grass, we had so many grass clippings, it was ridiculous. So we had a ton, so we just loaded them on there. And that created a ton of nitrogen, and that really helps. But just a reminder, when you get soil, sometimes you really don't know what you're getting. And we really didn't. So I got some really, really crappy topsoil. We fixed it though. And it just took us 3 years to do it. Took us a long time, but we got it. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Thanks for being a member too. I appreciate it.
Hey there all. Hope you're having a good weekend.
Hello. Thanks for coming up. Okay, so potatoes. Light, airy, that's what you need. And I suck at growing them, guys. I mean, some people just have that knack and they can just grow potatoes. I am not one of those people. In fact, I have completely stopped growing potatoes in my garden altogether because I don't think they're really all that worth it. Hey, Rudy, thanks for coming in. Oh, you're central? Okay, I understand. So, yeah, so every time I've grown potatoes, I've gotten those teeny little potatoes. And I just don't think it's worth it. And I have to take up so much bed space just to do it. And so what I will do then is if I see somebody or like a local store that has like a 20-pound bag of potatoes, I will get that. I will get that huge bag of potatoes and then I will take it home and can it. And that's really the best. Plus, I really honestly shouldn't be eating potatoes. They are good, but not good for me, I would say. And so I probably shouldn't be eating that many potatoes anyway. So it's not really that great of a loss. Yeah.
So yeah, Kay and I were watching a movie last night, and we watched the movie The Martian with Matt Damon. I don't know if you've heard of it already.
I think so. Yeah.
It's a really good movie. If you and Dustin are looking for a good movie for you guys to watch at all this weekend, it is actually really nice. Like if you enjoy a bit of space movie every now and again, it is so good. What is that movie with Julia Roberts as well that we watched, Babs?
Julia Roberts?
Yeah, the other one, Gravity, right?
Yeah, Gravity.
Gravity's another one, yeah.
That's
like
Sandra Bullock.
Sorry. But yeah, got so confused.
I recently watched the one with Sandra Bullock, and I was on my seat with that movie the entire time because she was so freaking brave. Like, I couldn't imagine, like, for me, I would probably just crawl up and die. And she was like, oh, I need to go out of my space capsule and fix this. And and several times she was tethered. And are we talking about the same movie? I hope we are.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
I was just like in awe that she was so brave that but I guess in a situation you think, well, I'm either gonna die in this capsule or I'm gonna die outside the capsule. So I guess it doesn't really matter, but I would still be terrified. And I thought she was incredibly brave. I could not believe.
Yeah. Captivating, right?
Yes. And I just kept thinking to myself, like, there is no way in hell I would leave that capsule. There's no way I would jump out and just try to fix something, or I just couldn't believe that she did what she did. And so I thought it was a really great movie. However, there were long lags, I thought, of her just being by herself. And I thought, well, this is kind of an odd movie. Like, I can't imagine being an actor and having to act like that. And there is literally nobody around you. Like, I just
Yeah.
thought that was strange. But yeah, so
It
and
adds to the feeling of the movie, doesn't it?
yeah.
So if you enjoyed it, please watch The Martian, because Kay and I really loved watching it. Matt Damon gives a very good. It's just so good. Like, and you know, I normally wouldn't be somebody that would watch space movies in that way, but like, I don't know. Do you agree, Louis? Do you also enjoy watching the occasional good space movie?
No, I don't watch TV or movies anymore.
Well, there you go. But no, I did enjoy it. There was another one, and I can't remember the name of it right now. And I thought also it was really, really good. Maybe if I could describe it to you, maybe you can name it. It was they were in cryogenics for like 100 years, and then all of a sudden his pod opened up, and he woke up, and he's like, oh my God, he's like, I'm the only one. And he's like, I woke up 100 years before I'm supposed to wake up. So he's like all by himself on this spaceship, and like there's all these people, they're still sleeping because they weren't supposed to wake up. So he finally like goes through all these people's profiles. He found all their profiles and stuff. And he goes through all these people's profiles and finds this woman. And he's like kind of falls in love with her through her profile. And then he goes to her cryogenic, her pod, and wakes her up. And then they are together. But he convinced her that it was just a malfunction. He never told her that, hey, I woke you up 100 years before I was supposed to. So anyway, the ship has multiple problems and whatever, and they have to do this and they have to do that to save it. Have you guys ever seen this? Probably not.
No.
And I cannot think. Gail said she saw that movie. I cannot remember the name of it. But anyway, it was really good. And there's like robots and stuff on the ship. So the guy's like completely by himself. He goes to the bar. The bartender's a robot, and he's like talking to the bartender. Just very strange. And yeah, so but it's like a really good space movie as well. And yeah.
Did you hear about that multi-million-dollar studio, that really big studio that just got basically paused? And the reason why they paused the studio, and the whole movie scene obviously right now is being like questioned, and the entertainment, obviously the entertainment industry's in dire straits, obviously, if you think about like with that new serious stuff. And I don't want to take the conversation too much towards AI, but like there is definitely a large problem in the way that they make movies when you can just make everything like so easily right now. Like the whole studio and setting and acting, everything can just be made from AI. So all of a sudden entertainment doesn't have as much value.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I think we're going to end up really just kind of biting ourselves in the ass with that AI stuff, because nothing's going to be real. Like, I really actually like a good movie, and I like knowing that the actors are real and that they took the time to memorize those lines. With AI, it's just like, I just think it takes all the fun and create. And that's the same thing with art. That you can just create some artwork and sell it. AI created it, but you can claim it as your own, and it takes all of the creativity out of it, and I don't necessarily care for that. So
you can essentially make with AI obviously and VR, you'd be able to make the movie and be in movies as well. The endless like capability that you have as well with that is just ridiculous. Like you could essentially make a game that is endlessly enjoyable, and that's the problem, is that you could make one that's got such a large universe for you to explore and do a whole bunch of fun stuff and do anything you wanted, right? Create your own like planet, create like your whole industry, govern a world, do anything that you wanted, unlimited basically. And the world would be expansive and creative, and the AI in the world would feel extremely real, and there could be other players in this world. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like that's coming, and that could take the space of almost all entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I like it. See, I'm crossing this fine line where I'm getting older. And okay, so am I getting older and I'm becoming an old fuddy-duddy? Because I think about it, like when I was younger, I used to think, oh, these older people, they're just not adapting because they're set in their ways and they're becoming. But now that I'm older, I kind of understand that point of view now more than ever. I don't think I'm becoming a more of an old fuddy-duddy. I think I'm just seeing what it really is, like what this AI really is and how it can affect us in the future. So I don't know. I just don't like it. I just think it's.
Have you ever seen the movie? When I was watching movies, have you ever seen the movie Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that happening for sure. Not that extreme, but I could see something happening like that.
Yeah. So the problem is that with AI and the way that AI works as well, their way of diminishing us and bringing us to our knees is they wouldn't even need to. I don't even know if that, because that could easily be done by them, I think. But I think that there'd be shortcuts for them to do so. I think that they'd try and save resources where possible. I don't know. I know that this that's why I'm sorry to bring up the AI topic, because it's so extensive and such a hot topic right now. There's so much. But when you speak about being set in your ways and being traditionalist, like in those kind of ways, in certain ways as well, I don't know. I'm very excited for the future and excited for all of this. So I think that the embrace of it, I'm enthusiastic to see what it brings. I have to be hopeful because there is a lot of things to fear about it. And we, as humans, we are concerned about change. But I think that the future can be extremely exciting. I can't wait for there to be no more poverty and there to be no more like problems when it comes to like violence within domestic situations. I can't wait for there to be something that brings hope to the world that we live in. Because if you had to ask me, we're living in darker times than we've ever really lived in regarding people's mental and psychological health, right? So like, we're living in such a dark time right now in terms of people not knowing where they're going and what to believe. And, that's just going to get even worse. So I think AI could bring truth to things too. I know it sounds crazy, but I really believe that. I think that the future might be extremely interesting. And we should be we should be optimistic where possible.
Yeah, I mean, I am optimistic about the future. I think things will obviously get better. I just don't necessarily agree with AI. I think it creates a bunch of tricksters. I think it can do more harm than good. I think people won't use it for good. I think they'll use it for bad, especially with now I'm seeing it more and more every day. I'm seeing it with celebrity advertisements. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, especially on Facebook, but I've seen that Kelly Clarkson AI generated advertisement where she's talking about how she lost a ton of weight. And damn well that is not what she took. It was to lose weight. This is an AI generated Kelly Clarkson, and they're using her to sell their product, and it's not real. And so that really pisses me off. And I don't like that. It's very obvious that it is AI generated because her lips do not match up. It's very horrible AI generated, but as we move further and further on, AI generation is just going to get better and better, and then we won't be able to tell if that really was Kelly Clarkson or it wasn't. We're never going to be able to tell. Oh, you're welcome, Gail. I don't know why I never had you as a mod before, but you're welcome. And that's another thing that kind of irritates me with AI is that they can use your voice. They can use your picture, and they can create situations where it's not true. And I don't agree. I don't think that's good for the future. I think it's going to be, it's leading down the line where we're going to need a better identification process. And what is that? I don't know. Let's plant a chip in you, because your license is not going to work anymore. Your passport isn't going to work anymore. We need to know if that is truly you. So they want to then plant a chip in you to make sure that that is actually you. And I don't agree with that. Like, I don't know. That's just my point of view, though. So, hey, will you please stop it?
I'm sure that AI will come up with a better with a better way. AI will come up with a better way of authentication, right?
I hope so, because
we've got to trust in.
I just hope so. Like, and it's obviously we're not stopping AI at any point. I mean, we're not stopping it. It's continuing to evolve and be there. But at the same time, I don't see a lot of good from it. I think people, and I mean, I'm not talking just on that level of scale. Well, yeah, I think people can get catfished very easily now as well. You can take someone and your average person, and you can use AI and turn them into a supermodel. And then essentially that person can scam you for all of that you're worth because somebody thinks you look like Pamela Anderson. And so I think you really have to be careful nowadays with people and this AI generated stuff. Like, I think there's a lot of good from it. I see that, but I think people can potentially use it for horrible, horrible, horrible things. And there's no way of stopping that, because how are you going to tell somebody on their computer that you can't turn into Pamela Anderson? You can't. So I really think that people really have to be careful. Yeah, I think it's going to create a ton of problems. And if it hasn't,
we're in the age of information, and we're definitely heading towards the age of confusion, where it'll be extremely difficult, as you say. How do you really know? I mean, the amount of the deep fakes that are out there already that are getting better all the time. You've seen the videos where they've even got local adverts. So one of the popular YouTube local adverts is Elon Musk has said that South Africa doesn't need to work anymore. All you need to do, and then they've got Elon Musk talking. Obviously, it's not Elon Musk saying these things, but like they've got a whole little speech from Elon Musk, and they're doing this type of thing all the time. It's definitely true. But
then you have, that's a really, really great example, by the way, because you have people that are slightly off, that are slightly already mentally ill, and then they obviously can't tell the difference between AI and a regular person. And they're like, Elon Musk actually said that. Okay, so now let's back that up a little bit. And then you have, I don't know, the President of the United States saying a bunch of stuff, and people can't tell the difference between him and the actual President of the United States. AI, for me, is not good. Like, I just feel like it's going to get us in trouble. Like, it's going to get a lot of people confused. And, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents in it. It's
I think it's going to get us into a lot of trouble, confusion, depending upon the scenario.
I mean, think about it. Like, you can essentially create a scene where the president is making a speech in the White House, and you can completely control the population by someone that has completely made up the President of the United States. It's not even his words. Like, how far can AI go? And it's kind of, for me, that's scary. Hey, Hendo, thanks for coming in. Is Mr. Six-Pack Guardian waffling again? What?
Well, that's how wars can be started. Doing that kind of stuff, eh?
Yeah.
putting
I don't know.
the president of somewhere up on there and saying stuff that he wouldn't normally say is how wars get started.
Yeah, exactly. I think I see the good in it too. I don't necessarily saw the bad, but I don't think that somebody's just going to do something for the good. I don't think I don't know. I just don't think people would do it for the good. I can honestly see, and I've seen it a lot where people have used somebody's YouTube channel, or actually Facebook does it constantly, where they take someone's channel from TikTok and totally create a Facebook page out of it, and they collect all the money that somebody else used for all their hard work, someone else's hard work. And I've seen that a lot. What's to say that AI can't do that? Totally, steal your identity. I mean, it's just it's kind of boggling my mind now thinking about it. But I see good in it too. I'm not saying that it's all bad, but I see more bad than good.
We are at the stage where we have generative AI, and what the generative AI does is it creates copies of itself, and then those copies create bot accounts across different social media platforms and create different social media elements like YouTube videos and all sorts of things. And then you'll usually find you can recognize and you can distinguish it if you listen carefully. But if you go through your YouTube page, and anybody that's listening can do this, and you scroll down through your YouTube page right now compared to 1 year ago, if you had to scroll through your recommended page, you'd see a lot of these videos where there's only like a couple hundred views or something, or just a few, like 50 views or something. You click on those videos and you can hear that it's AI talking, right? It's these AI generated videos. And what I'm trying to say is it's not even like that there's people creating these videos. People have already created these bots that are now shooting them out. So basically, you've got create 10 bots that create 10 bots that create 10 bots. And all of a sudden, you have thousands of these bots. And it's already at the point where, and then YouTube now, if you've seen as a creator, if you go to, when you're creating a video, it'll say, does this video, contain anything that's legitimate or contain anything that's edited from somebody else? YouTube's trying to nail it already, but it doesn't help because the person can just say, no, of course not. And then it can just be like, videos of deep fakes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think we have to be really aware. I can already see through the AI. Like, I know when looking at something, I know if it's AI generated or not. I can already tell. What if you are an 18-year-old person who grew up in AI, or even if you are a 10-year-old, you grew up in AI, and you can't tell the difference? Then you can create an entire society of people that can be tricked, manipulated. I don't know. I just think it's kind of, I don't know. I think it's kind of bad. But we'll see how it all works out. In the end, we'll see how it all works out, because it may be good. I don't know. I think it just...
In the beginning, it may be good, might have the best intentions, but some of the best intentions lead to the worst things happening.
Yeah.
Imaginable too.
The thing that gets me the most is when you can basically AI someone like Elon Musk, or you can, or what if you can AI somebody like Bill Gates, or AI somebody like Vladimir Putin, and it's really, 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 really scary. That can create wars. I don't know. Something to think about. AI can lead to more people being scammed. That's kind of how I feel too. And not just personally, not just scammed as far as taking their, well, here we have Social Security. So not just like taking your Social Security number, or, your credit card numbers, not just that kind of scam. Like scamming you on a really intimate level, like dating and stuff like that. And people have already done it. Like the whole TV show Catfish is one of them. And that's not through AI though. That's by somebody just taking a model's picture. Like you see that woman all the time, that little old lady who says that Post Malone is writing her. I see it all the time. It was on Dr. Phil. It is a just a Facebook clip, and she swears that Post Malone is in love with her, and they write to each other every day. And that poor little old lady is totally being catfished. Like Post Malone is not writing her. That's nuts. But she's being scammed, you know? And I think that's going to happen more and more and more. And people are going to be able to use their own faces. They don't even have to use Post Malone's face. They could just, you know, use their own face and do whatever they want to it and scam people. I don't know.
Imagine if Post Malone's actually trolling really hard, right? And Post Malone is actually writing to this lady, and then he just denies everything and says, no, it's not me. It must be some sort of a scam or something like that. But he's actually the whole time had a separate account with his own face and everything, and it's actually legitimately.
You know what? You know what's funny is like a part of me wanted to believe it for that poor little old lady. Right. I did. I'm like, well, what if Post Malone really is writing her? Nobody believes her.
Maybe they think about Post Malone that he just has been advised by his agents not to admit, you know? We don't know.
Yeah. It just like, a part of me was like, oh, that poor little old lady.
So, Hendo brings up a good point here as well, where he speaks about causing more unemployment. I think that as through time, our idea of employment currently is horrendously botched. I think that we believe in the industrial mindset when it comes to what we need to do. I don't think humans need to perform jobs when there can be tools created to perform the jobs that humans are currently doing. Yeah. I think that, I know it sounds extremely like out there to have this opinion, but I really do believe in this in a steadfast manner, which is that I think that people, and there's a lot of movies that are out there that have depicted a similar type of scenario, but I think that human beings are creative. I think that we can be, people that are community-based and stuff as well. We can have great times together. We can discuss things. We can we can philosophize. We can do all of these interesting, mind projects as well. We can just be creative in so many different ways. So why do we need to have these 9-to-5s from Monday to Friday that are that way? Human beings don't need to, look at Hendo believing that I'm trolling still. Human beings do not need to do the type of work that we do at the moment, like, logistics and manufacturing and aviation. All of these type of jobs are redundant when you have computers that are capable of doing them. Human beings could, and when it comes to farming, and then you say, okay, so then how are we going to get food? That can all be done through computers, like solar panel and like artificial intelligence can take the place of everything that we do in our society. I don't see how that's a negative. I really don't see. And I know people are afraid of change, but I think that I would much rather work on my fitness all day and then go sailing or do something, or go mountain climbing with the family and go on these long hikes and adventures and go and travel the world with the family and go and see pretty beautiful things. Why can't I do that instead of working a 9-to-5 when computers can take the place of doing all of them? I think that there's a lot of things that people are scared of, but if they see the whole utopian side, there can be so much positivity. There can be such a brilliant and beautiful world for us to experience. We can live longer lives. We could confidently live with the help of innovation and AI medicine that we could live to, like, as I've said, 150 to 200 comfortably. Like, life can be beautiful and amazing. And it's just like, I don't think people are willing to accept the change yet.
I see the only good in it that I would probably use for myself is if I could create an AI generated, say for instance, I did only computer work. Okay. And I was at home on the computer all day. I could create an AI generated version of myself. I could create specific keystrokes for this AI to do. This AI could basically be me all day long while I am out gallivanting around. So I could create another version of myself to work when I could just go. Okay. So I don't think your boss could tell you otherwise. If you say, oh, I have a meeting today, and you could just do an AI generated version of yourself, put it out there on your conference, and nobody would know the difference. Now that would be spectacular.
How long do you think I've been doing that with live streams?
Nuh-uh.
I've always believed in there's always got to be human presence there in a certain way when it comes to robots and computer stuff.
Yeah.
And doctor stuff, and sure, a lot of jobs. I wouldn't want a robot operating on me.
No way. I'd much rather have a robot operating on me. Humans make way more mistakes than robots do. Oh my gosh. Like, robots can, a robot that is, sure, robots can malfunction and stuff, but a surgical robot would have so many fail-safes in place that would essentially be there, that if anything went wrong, it would shut off this, shut off that, shut off that, at any point, because it wouldn't mistakenly, like, do what a human being has done. And also, we've been speaking recently about, like, what doctors have done and what people in the medical field, unfortunately, with much respect to the people in the medical field that help and save lives, I love them for that. My mom is actually in the field as well. But my point being that there can absolutely, if it comes down to surgery and the way that certain cars are made right now, where they're made perfectly, flawlessly, better than human beings have ever been able to do because of robotics, please, yes, work on me. I'd much prefer that. You know what I mean? Like, I have more trust in a robot turning red at the robot and at the traffic light, in a regular traffic light, than I do somebody that's there signaling with their hands to do the proper job. You know what I mean?
Yes. I understand. I understand everybody's point of view, but it's just, I don't know. Something's uneasy about it. And
when the AI revolution happens, just remember that I'll be all giggity. Wherever we are in the world, if everything shuts down and the AI is winning, I'm going to be like, well, AI will do it better. Come on. Give AI a bit of a... Isn't that the natural evolution, perhaps? Isn't AI our natural evolution? Isn't that the next step in what we could be? There's a specific opinion and perspective on this that I've heard quite recently where, okay, I'm not going to go down that road because that really leads into the whole simulation theory and all that. Don't worry, I won't go down there. I won't, I promise.
I don't know, guys. I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. It's pretty crazy, pretty scary. And what did I just check? The dog?
We were speaking about potatoes, which led to the movie Martian, right? And then that led to other things. But my point being with the whole potatoes is definitely watch this movie with Dustin at some point over the weekend. It's called The Martian, and you really will enjoy it, I promise. If you enjoyed Gravity, you'll love it.
Okay. Definitely.
And it's got nothing to do with AI. Don't worry.
Okay.
Because I know that topic is so boring in a way too. It can be like stop speaking about AI already. But it's just so interesting, and it's the next big thing in my opinion. I don't know.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. So I don't know how we got into this talk because we were talking about potatoes. I hope you guys understand that the potatoes, you do definitely need to have a much fluffier type of soil. Sorry, much fluffier type of soil. It needs to have more air, less compact, stuff like that. So that's something to think about. Now, they obviously need more phosphorus. And that's a really good example. I was reading most potatoes, like if you have a really big one, the best thing to do is to chit that one and to chop it up, use the eyes. But if you have a decent smaller size potato, you can actually plant that as a whole. I have actually planted whole big potatoes before, hoping that I would get other big potatoes as well. So, okay, hold on.
So here's the question. How do you shit potatoes? Say store-bought potatoes. How do you shit them?
Okay, the best thing to do is really easy is to possibly let them grow on their own. So if you put them, I don't know, put them somewhere and forget about them for a while and let them grow on their own. Or you can, if the potatoes have eyes on them, you can easily see the eyes and you just cut out the eye. And then you can use that portion of the eye and plant that. Does that make sense? What do you think?
Say you leave your potatoes on the counter, bags are open. How long do you think it would take for them to shit?
I don't know. Couple weeks before you start seeing growth on them, maybe. I don't know. For me, I've always just forgotten about them. And so they always grow, some plants. However, you can easily see the eyes on those potatoes, and you can cut an eye out, and then you can plant that too. A lot of potatoes don't have very many eyes, and at that point, then it's like, oh, so you could plant the entire potato if you really wanted to. Yeah, you can even do it without the soil if you really wanted to. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can find a really good picture because I don't really have a potato here. Potatoes. Okay, here's a good example. Let me pull this up. Come on now. I need the whole picture. Thank you. See if I can show you potatoes with eyes. Is that showing you? Hold on, we'll find out here in a second. It's very slow. No, I don't want that one. I want this one. No, I don't need the advertisement. I hate when the advertisement pops up. It's just so rude. There we go. Window. Here we go. Share. Here is a good example of potatoes with eyes. Now, this can be used for multiple different growths. Each one of these, see them on there? You can cut that out and you can plant that. You don't use the whole thing. You can just cut a little portion of that out and you can plant that. So how do I explain this to make it easier? Each one of these is like a seed. And you can cut that out and you can put that in the ground. Some of them, like this one, for instance, doesn't have hardly any eyes on it. You could probably plant that whole thing and you'd be okay. But some of these, like this one, for instance, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 5 eyes that you can get out of that. And you can just cut it up into little sections and then you can plant that. I have a bag of purple potatoes ready to go in the ground. Can't wait. Awesome. I like purple potatoes. They're pretty good. I don't know if they taste much different. They're just really cool looking. So that's something to think about when you have potatoes. Hold on. Let me see if there's anything else. Any other cool pictures. That was like the best picture I could find. And yeah. So if you get a bag of seed potatoes, it's going to be a lot easier. You're probably going to, like in the seed potatoes, you're probably going to get a lot more eyes than you would of a bag you just get from the grocery store. Usually the ones in the grocery store are sprayed with something that keep them from sprouting, stuff like that. It makes it harder to grow. So if you get a bag of seed potatoes, they're not usually sprayed with anything. And you could probably get a lot more eyes. However, the directions typically on the bag will tell you that you might want to set them out for like 24 hours or something like that, or a couple of days for them to harden off. And then once you do that, then you can go ahead and cut the eyes out and plant them. I don't know why they suggest you harden them off. But they do suggest that you harden them off before you plant them. Hopefully that
I
helps.
wonder if you know how you soak ginger before you plant it with the eyes?
Yeah.
I wonder if you could do that with potatoes.
I don't know. That would be a really good experiment to try and video it. That'd be really cool. I'd like to see that and see how it turned out. I don't know how that would work. It'd be something cool to test and see. Religion, politics, race, and AI. I will talk about any of those in an educated environment. But if you have one person that is educated on the subject, they will turn that into a complete fiasco. I like to talk about subjects like that, but I like to be open-minded with it and actually have an actual educated conversation about it.
Right.
You can get idiots in any one of those, and they will just go off the handle. You know what I mean? And so therefore it makes it hard. I only like to talk about those subjects with people that I find are just educated, that can have a good, decent conversation without saying race baiting and saying their religion is the best religion, and and their race is the best race. And if you can just have a really great conversation, then yes, I will talk about any one of those. But you also have to be careful who you're talking about those subjects too. You can't just go around and talk about that. I would never talk about religion and politics at the post office. You know what I mean? So you just have to be smart enough to know what to talk about with who.
Yeah. No, I get you. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. I also just think it's it's funny to an extent, but we've also got to be respectful while it's being funny. While certain topics, and certain things can actually, I think humor can bring people together sometimes. And laughing about things in politics, religion, race, laughing about the things, laughing about the differences, and actually uniting on that front, I think can be a beautiful thing. I just think that because of the past, we also just need to be just careful and care. We need to have compassion, and that's, I think, an important thing. And have compassion for people and realize that we don't always understand the full spectrum of everything either,
Right. I'm one of those people that appreciate a good joke. I can laugh about Trump's corn silk hair, and I can also laugh about Joe Biden pooping his pants in the same instance. So I appreciate a good joke. Some people get so offended. They just get so they're so tied up in that. And I'm just not. I stopped watching TV and all of that stuff a long time ago. I'm going on 11 years where I haven't actually had cable television. I don't watch commercials. And so, yeah, I'm always a little bit behind everybody else, but it's so worth it. So worth it.
Hey, Howie.
Hey, Howie. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you.
I've never actually thought that the literal watching trees grow, so essentially gardening and stuff, would be so much better than TV as well. I actually, when I'm spending time out there gardening, recently what I did was I planted I also want to speak about how beautiful sweet potatoes, well, essentially yams, can be, and how beautiful they can grow vines up and how amazing it can look.
Yeah.
It looks so pretty. But at the moment I'm busy building a visibility wall kind of thing with these succulents out there in the front, and I spent quite a couple of days I'd say about 3 full days worth in the last, I'd say, 2 to 3 weeks. Whenever I've had time away from work and that, I've been able to go out there, and what I did was I cleared a whole patch at about an arm's length of a patch, so about an arm's length of patch circumference all along the exterior between the house and the road. And then I planted all of these succulents, and these succulents take extremely quickly. And I also put a little bit of rooting agents on the end, because so succulents you can basically just pull off and plant. I love them because of that. So like I pulled off all these succulents and I've planted like the whole wall, the fence now. And as the fence grows, I'll take some pictures and I'll actually send it to you guys. What I'll do is I'll post it on my community page as well, and I'll show little pictures. And then obviously what will happen is it's going to grow. Sorry about the background noise. It's going to grow really nicely over time as well. Like it's going to look so pretty.
Sweet potato plants are super cool, and they're like I don't know about you. Hey, Christy, thanks for coming in. I don't know about you guys and where you live, but here they put them in planters. It's not just a food group. Like they'll put them in planters with flowers and the vines hang way down. And it's like beautiful. And there's several different types of, they call them sweet potato vine. So there's several different types. You can get like a purpley looking one, and you can get like a really bright green one, and they put them in flower pots and they vine down, and they're absolutely gorgeous. And it was funny. My sister-in-law, she's like, oh, I got this really beautiful planter with the sweet potato vine. And at the end of the year, I was cleaning it out and I found one sweet potato in there. I laughed a little bit. I'm like, yeah, because it actually is a sweet potato, but they use the foliage for so many things. And you can eat the leaves off of the sweet potato. You can do so many things with sweet potato. You can make bread out of it. You can make flatbread out of it. All different kinds of cool stuff with sweet potatoes. Plus, they're delicious. So it's really cool to have sweet potatoes, and where you live, I'm sure you could just grow a shit ton of sweet potatoes everywhere because your environment's perfect for it.
Yeah, all year round as well. So pretty much they are seasonal. They do have a growth period, as far as I've seen. They definitely have a period where they grow much better than others. But what's really nice, Hendo, sweet potatoes are also so good for you too. Like it's not just that they're like nice to grow and that they have that beauty. So speaking about vines and the beauty behind them, there's actually a creeper that I got about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was growing very, very slowly. I was so despondent about but I was happy, and there was a glimmer of hope that it was still growing like slightly against like outside underneath this tap where I planted it originally. And it's a creeper with these little walls, and it's on a giant face brick wall that covers like basically half of our house, like half the property. So the idea essentially was so that it could grow up all the way across. And because it's not a heavy creeper, it would essentially just reinforce the structure that's there already. So it looks so amazing. So now obviously what's happened is now after like 4 or 5 years, it started to take. And now it's like actually got visible growth like every couple of days. Where like
does your creeper peep in your windows?
I've never been asked.
When you said creeper, I immediately thought it was like some creepo is peeping in your windows at night, and that's immediately what I thought. Sorry, but I knew what you meant.
No.
I immediately thought of creep. Like
I suppose I'll never be able to think of the creeper thing without actually wondering about that joke, because sometimes they actually do, and you got to cut them off a little bit. You got to trim them by the windows. So.
It's a peeping creeper. Yeah, that's right. You got to look out for them.
They are so pretty though. If you've seen those like old churches and old English homes and stuff like that, where they've got creeper and vinyl over it. There's nothing more beautiful, right?
I think it's gorgeous. I've always wanted that. I just love the way it looks. I love like here we have what is called English ivy, and it will just go right up your house if you let it. I don't have it planted anywhere because it will just take over. I had it in my old property and it was in the shade, and you couldn't kill it even if you wanted to. It was just everywhere. It was crazy.
What color are the flowers of that?
There is no flowers. It's just like a green vine. It's called English ivy. Anyway, I had a bunch of it, and I do think it's beautiful, and it grows up outside of houses and stuff, but you really have to watch because it can do some damage to your house and your roof and everything else. But a lot of those English houses are brick, or like they're made up of some different material. Here it's different. Like our house is not made of brick. It's made of wood that would eventually rot. But like, yeah, I just think it looks so beautiful. Hold on, let me see if I can find an example for everybody if they don't know what English ivy is. Oh, here's a perfect example of English ivy plot. And I absolutely love it. I think this is so cool. Let me see if I can pop that window up. Oh, entire screen. No, window. Boom. There it is. Right here is a perfect English ivy flat 50 plants. Dang it. Is it going to show that? Yes, it is. Cool. There. Perfect. This is called English ivy. And see how it's all over the place. It's grown up all over the doorway. It's absolutely beautiful. But it just like, you got to be really careful wherever you plant this because it will just take over. There's another beautiful example. I just think it looks so cool, especially like on an old castle or like, I don't know. I just think it's really, really, really cool.
It's the best type of wall that you can have. I love the green to it, like the fact that you can have something like that. So my dream home, even before Lord of the Rings actually made their debut with the movies, have always been like the look of a Hobbit home. So the way that a Hobbit home's designed was like just basically a big grass like mound with a tree growing in the center, and that being like the center of your home. So essentially, you have like glass interior in all the rooms so that they basically have like a window to be able to see the tree if they wanted to, but the tree being like the essence in the middle and the center point of your house, like of your home. So just build the whole house around it type of thing. But anyway, just the whole idea of having nature implemented as much as possible into a house is amazing. It's funny because we've built for thousands of years to improve homes and to make it nice and insulated inside, only to bring as much as we possibly can outside, inside, like little rock features and little plants, indoor plants, and little fish and all sorts of things from the outside inside to make the inside look like outside. But we did so much work to get the outside to look like and to get the inside to be inside.
Yeah. There's other type of creeping plants as well. I know there's one specifically. And the people in California, it's because of where they live. The people in California use, and it's like, it's a vining plant and it goes all the way up, but it has these bright, beautiful red flowers. And I cannot think of what it's called. Let me see if I can find a picture. California. I don't think that's it. This. It's like it read my mind. Is that it? No, I don't think that's it. Yes, it is. That has to be it. I don't know if it is or not. And I'll show you a picture. This kind of looks like something else. A trumpet plant. No thanks. I don't want your advertisement. Thank you. There's something too. I think this is a trumpet. This is called Tangerine Beauty, but it's a trumpet because the flower looks like a trumpet. Trumpet vine. That can get out of control too. But I don't think that's what I'm looking at. I don't know. I can't find what I'm looking for if I don't know what it's called. But these are all over. They're so beautiful. They have them everywhere. But some of them are petunias, but it's like your typical Southern California house, and it has these beautiful vines. Let's see if I can find it. Southern California home with mining plants. This is what I'm talking about right here. See that? And they have that like that everywhere in California. I think it's actually poisonous. But see how it comes over the doors and stuff? Like in California, they can have these beautiful. Can you see it? You can't see it, can you? Share. Why didn't it stop sharing? Here we go. That's what I'm talking about right there. And they have those everywhere. And some of them are not jasmine. They said this is jasmine, but they have the perfect houses. A lot of their houses are like stucco houses. It kind of looks like a desert type home. And they have like these beautiful vining, flowering plants. And maybe that's what I'm thinking of, Happy Mac and Delva. Maybe. I just think it's beautiful. And you can get it here, but it won't live very long because unless you put it inside in the winter. There it lives all year round, and it's just like a beautiful landscape. The California homes are a little bit different. They can have that. Oh yeah, hardy zones 9 to 11. Yeah. Yeah. And what is that? That looks like a wisteria. I have a wisteria that will not bloom. It doesn't love me. I don't know what's wrong with it. It just won't bloom. Driving me crazy. What is that?
Wow, that's nice. That's amazing.
I don't. Oh, what happened here? Stop moving. It's a woody vine shrub. Drought tolerant. So yeah, this would be perfect for 9 through 11 probably.
Yeah, it fits perfectly. I've seen them being grown here locally too, here in South Africa. And when we had a comment there as well that bougainvillea likes heat, and that's something where over here it gets ridiculously hot all year round, and we have a problem where it just never gets cold. So a bougainvillea would do so good up front.
That's it, Happy Mac. It's a vining oleander. That's what it is. Oleander is very poisonous, and they have it all over their California homes. Let's see if I can get a better picture. That's exactly what it is. Vining oleander home. Images. Oh, yeah. Let's see if I can find a better. A lot of like celebrities have that all over the place.
Are you familiar with Morning Glory, the purple flower?
Yes, yes. We have them here.
Yeah, we've also got them on our side as well. They're growing through the gutter. And it looks so pretty when it's hanging down like that. I know that it can maybe cause a problem a bit later down the road, but at the moment it just looks so beautiful, like where it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I love morning glories and all of that, and I used to want that. I have a clematis, which is it's a vining flower. It's really pretty, and it comes back every year here. It's kind of hardy, but I have yet to get it to climb. So far, it just looks like a clematis bush. It is not climbing.
Will it be all right? I don't know. I just wonder what it'll do a little bit later down the road, how it'll actually impact the structure. I don't think it will, because it will probably just carry on looking pretty, and it looks like it's going to hold together. But I don't know. I'm concerned if it does get out of hand. But wow, it looks beautiful. Like just the fact that it's hanging like that, and it's just, and the plants obviously open in the morning like that, and during the night they close up. It just looks so pretty.
A lot, like Christy said, a lot of people have them on their homes, but what they do then is they make sure it doesn't get out of hand. And you can do that with a lot of plants, but that's your commitment. Like I have a wisteria, and I know when I'm 80, I'm never going to be able to take care of that thing. So it's probably going to get out of hand. So I'd probably either have to remove it before that time period or something. I know a lady that had let her wisteria get out of hand, and it takes over the entire wooded area outside of her backyard. And every year it blooms, and it looks like her her pine trees have these beautiful purple blooms in them, because her wisteria got completely out of hand. So once you get a certain age, you don't feel like taking care of that anymore. You might want to think about what you're planting in your home and stuff like that. Like, I know there's some plants that just, you have to take care of them. If you don't, they will get completely out of hand. It'll look ridiculous, like the wisteria is taking over your house.
I love the idea, though. I've got nothing against, as long as it doesn't do too much structural damage. I like the idea of it just growing wild and having. If you look at our property, we have so much plants and so much like trees growing. Like in our whole like suburb, we are absolutely the property that has the most trees and bushes and plants and like everything. If you look at our house from the street, like there's a mountain nearby where I go like hiking and stuff. And from that mountain, you can't even see our house because it's just green. It looks like literally just like a tree is there. Like it just looks like, and it's quite a big property, but the whole property is covered in green. And now what I'm doing in the front is going to make it even more like that. Like it's just going to make it completely like absolutely green. And I don't know, I find my faith within it, within plants and within like things growing and within, nature like that. So for me, having like a home that is very green orientated and very pretty like that just makes me feel more at home when I'm around so many plants,
Yeah, I think it looks good too. I like the way it looks. So I worry about when I'm older and I'm not going to be able to take care of it anymore. Then what is it going to look like? Because right now my wisteria, it goes crazy and it grows inside my barn. Like it found a crack up by the roof. And if we don't clip it back, like you walk in my barn and you can see my wisteria just like growing over the wall. Like it's inside the barn. We have to cut it back. It's just like crazy. That thing is crazy wild. I've never seen anything like it. And in some areas, it's completely illegal to plant because so many people have planted it or whatever, and it's just like taking over everywhere, choking out trees and everything else. So some areas you aren't even allowed to plant it, unfortunately.
And yeah, it'll just come up as as Christy said it as well. Like what'll happen is it'll essentially it can be dormant for a while, and you'll see it'll like pop up as a little like shoot somewhere, and it'll just start like growing up all over again. And if you take a little piece of it, you can actually take it and regrow it the same way you regrow succulents. You can take like morning glory, like a piece of that morning glory. You can take it somewhere and you just put it enough soil, maybe a little bit of rooting agent, and there it goes again. And then also what we have is we've got these beautiful big Monster Deliciouses that are growing up. I don't know if you're familiar with Monster Delicious.
Mm-mm.
So bring up Monster Delicious on Google quickly, the plant. It's amazing. It's such a big and beautiful and tropical jungle. If you want your property to like resemble a jungle, get more of these involved. I promise.
What is it called? Monster
Delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah, Monster Delicious, the plant. It's a monsteria. So look for.
Okay, I see it. Monsteria delosa.
Yep. Or we all call it Monster Delicious over here.
I typed that in and it didn't give me the. It's okay though. I figured it out. Holy crap! It gets huge. Hold on, I'm gonna show everybody. Screen. Monster Delusia.
So I'll tell you something interesting about these plants that Courtney's just about to bring up. So these plants specifically that you're seeing here, these ones in the jungles throughout various places where there's jungles throughout the world, They live on the forest floors, and what will happen is they grow giant because they try and capture as much sunlight as possible, right? Because there's not much sunlight down there. And they're also really good climbers. And they don't like, so if you plant them somewhere that's a nice, well-shaded area, they will grow so big. And you see them, you look at that picture there. That's how beautiful
it's
they
freaking huge. Let me see if I can get it up here, guys. That's freaking huge.
Yeah, we've got bigger ones than that. We've got ones twice the size of that.
I was going to say, is that your guys' house right there? It is, isn't it?
It's a lot of wood. Yeah, we've got tons of.
That's crazy. Let's see if I can find a better picture. And no, I can't.
And because it doesn't need that much light, you can grow it indoors because of that. So you can grow, like what they've got, a feature there, but then you've just got to be careful that it doesn't start, because the roots will try and find any sort of soil or anything to get into the ground further. So that's why it's called Monster Delicious, because it's not just like a beautiful plant, but it's so just magnificent.
That is freaking huge. I think I should get that for my house. That's funny.
You won't regret it, I promise. It really is absolutely stunning of a plant.
Start growing it in my kitchen.
And it's got a personality. Once you have one, you'll see what I'm talking about. But it has its own, like, I can't describe it in any other way. There's only one other plant similar to this that has a personality in the way that I'm talking about. But it has its own, like, I know all plants have their own vibrations and whatever. But this Monster Lotia actually has its own, like, I don't know. It's very weird if you live with it. I can't explain it.
Bye, Howie. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. Yeah.
Have a lovely day. Enjoy your weekend.
That is very interesting. Wow. It's just so freaking huge, man.
Top in a large one. Specifically top large, like one variant.
Okay. Monster Delicious. Cut. Let's see if I can Google. No, I don't want that. Stop it. Stop sharing for a second. Let me look this up. Google. No, I don't want that kind of Google. Thank you. Keeps wanting to bring up my AdSense. Very large. Very large Monster Delicious. Oh. Oh. Okay. I'm going to share this real quick. This is crazy. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is unreal. Like, it's growing up the side of this tree. This is nuts.
Yeah.
Why isn't it showing me just a good picture, though? Maybe because I'm not on images. Maybe I need images. I mean, this is just, oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah, it's because it's a jungle plant like that, and it grows that big. It starts looking like something from a movie. Like, it really just is amazing.
Don't eat me, Seymour. Yeah, look at that. Now that is big. Stop. I don't want to join your email program. Come on. That is freaking huge, guys. That's unreal. Never seen anything like that.
And you know the corpse flower? Are you familiar with the corpse flower, right?
Yes.
So if you consider how big the corpse flower is, and then you grow them near this as well, and it just starts looking like you're like this tiny person in these around these giant plants.
Are you guys out there familiar with what a corpse flower looks like? They're really, really weird. I've only ever seen one in person, and it was in a botanical garden. So hold on one second. Let me show you. Google's not nice. Let's type in corpse flower. Not corpse bride. Yeah. This is a corpse flower. I've only ever seen one. I think it was in the Botanical Gardens in Chicago. And it was freaking huge. Oh, come on. Can you guys see that? No.
Yeah, we're sharing the original Google one.
Jerks. Okay, let me try this again. It's not, it doesn't follow me. That's what irritates me. Okay. Hey, shake and bake. Shake and bake? Seriously? Oh, the shake and bake boys. I know someone else that is shake and bake, so it scared me. I'm like, who is that? Anyway, can you guys see this? This is the corpse flower. Like I said, I've only ever seen one. And you can't touch it or anything, right? Is this the one that's extremely poisonous? I can't remember. Either way, I've seen a giant one, and it was at the Botanical Gardens in Chicago. Our friends got married there. And then you could go in, and it was really cool, actually. They got married inside the Botanical Gardens, and you could walk around the Botanical Gardens, and they had like these parrots and everything. Everybody's talking to these parrots. I'm clicking on it and it's not doing anything. Oh, hold on.
So yeah, with these Monstera and then the corpse flowers as well, with these, it's just extremely interesting looking at how they are. And then not just that, but like the feeling that you get when you're around these giant plants is really cool. And then before you speak about parrots, and I'll say this before I leave quickly. So one more thing that I'll mention. So after we're gone, if something had to occur to us, right, and humanity just ends abruptly for some reason, the only last voices of us will be parrots in the jungles, where parrots are able to teach their young like the same mimicry and voices of human beings that have been there. So currently there are parrots in the wild that have picked up off of local villages, and they can mimic in the wild right now. There are parrots that are talking in human, they're not speaking as much frequently in human conversation, but they can speak and sound like us, and they teach their young that. So my point being, if something did happen to the world, the last voices that would be heard amongst out there, even after we're gone, would be these parrots that are still speaking like in the same way that we did. But anyway, I'll chat to you guys again. Thank you for an awesome stream. Sorry that the first 10 minutes was dedicated to the AI thing. I'm just so like lost there mentally right now. I can't even explain it to you, like how many rabbit holes I've gone down. But anyway, I hope that you have a lovely weekend ahead of you. And please say
thank you. Have a good Easter.
Yeah, absolutely. Say hey to Dustin for me as well.
I will.
Right.
See you later. Bye.
Bye, Louie. Bye.
Yeah, that corpse flower is freaking huge. And yes, that the parrot thing, that's a freaking thought for sure. Freaky thought. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read off my phone because for some reason the computer is really slow. Okay, we're good. So I hope I taught you a little bit about potatoes, Lewis. I'm sorry, there was a lot of talking in between. But potato is, you have those eyes, you can cut them up, you can plant those. And it's really, really, really simple. However, the soil thing you have to figure out. It has to be the perfect combination to grow a wonderful selection of potatoes.
No, this is my first time buying store-bought potatoes to grow. So yeah. I just wanted to really know.
It should be the same. Hopefully you get a big yield from it. I can't guarantee that you will because you are buying it from a grocery store. I don't know what they've sprayed on them. They could have sprayed something to keep them from reproducing. They do that with garlic. So if you do buy potatoes, stuff like that, just make sure you buy organic ones because they don't spray that chemical on them to keep it from sprouting. It's like an herbicide. They spray it on there to keep it from sprouting and stuff. So if you you grew regular garlic that you got from the grocery store, it wouldn't produce anything. I was chasing him yelling chicken dinner for one thing. What? Okay, hold on. Hendo, I would hate to hear what the parrots heard me yelling at a rooster this morning. Aw. Oh, dude. Okay. I got a major turkey problem. And I don't even know what to do anymore. My turkeys are just everywhere. And they're not starving. Like I don't understand it. They're always on my porch. They're always on my porch. They're every time I go on my back porch, they are every time I go on my porch, they're right there. If I would open the door, they would come in my house. And I love having animals being close to me. I love that, but my turkeys are just out of control. I don't want them on my porch. And I know, like for the years, they didn't come up to the porch. And my ducks started coming up to the porch. And it's like they learned from the ducks. And they keep coming up. And they keep raiding my food forest over there. And it's like they're starving, but they're not starving. We buy them food. I don't understand it, but they're driving me nuts. I don't want to have their poop everywhere. And it's funny because I'll go out to the car. They were right there. Yeah, gangster turkeys for sure. And yeah, and now the mama turkey, she does the same thing. Where before she was sitting on eggs, so she would never come around us. She was just sitting on her eggs, and Rico and Suave would come up to the porch. Now it's Rico, Suave, and Mama. They come up. And I do love having them around. It's just I don't want them on my porch anymore. Like they're gonna like this summer, I'm just gonna have shit everywhere. And I don't want to have to keep picking up turkey shit. And it's not just like turds. It's like, you guys know how birds poop. It's disgusting. My Jersey giant rooster is trying to come inside to get away from the mean rooster. Wants to be a house rooster. Yeah, I think some animals are just like in tune to that. Like they're curious and want to come in. And I think Mama wants to come in. I don't want her in the house. Oh my God, I can't even imagine picking up that kind of poop. Like that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous, guys. I watched this one. It's a YouTuber, and I haven't seen his videos in a long time. He is a guy who lives with his lover. They are gay. Live with their lover. He has a pig. And when he bought the pig, he thought it was going to be like a miniature pig. You know, like those people, they get a potbelly pig and they think it's going to be like this little, they're going to have like a little miniature pig to play with. And it wasn't that. It turned into an 800-pound pig. I cannot think of her name right now. And
that's a lot of bacon.
Oh, it's huge. And it's a pet. They're never going to eat it. It's a pet. And I think they live in Canada, actually. And they let it out or whatever. It has its own room. It lays in a bed. They buy clothes for it. It has earmuffs. Like, it has all these things, right? But they also have a pet turkey, and his name is Cornelius. And he comes in the house, too. I'm like, dude, like, do you have a maid? I can't imagine. Like, say for instance, your pig didn't go out in time and you didn't get it out fast enough. It's an 800-pound freaking pig and it's gonna shit in your house. Like, really? I just can't. I mean, I love animals, but I can't imagine having a pig. Yeah, it's Cornelius, the turkey. God, man, I need to look it up because it's adorable. It's absolutely adorable. Maybe I can Google search it and show you guys because it's freaking adorable. Cornelius the turkey. And yes, it's Esther the Wonder Pig. Yes, that's it right there. They have 81,000 views or whatever. Oh God, here's all their pictures. There we go. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to share. Share screen. This is Cornelius and Esther the Wonder Pig. They have an Odyssey online. That's what they look like. That pig is 800 pounds. And look how neat and clean their house looks. I mean, they have to be seriously cleaning all the time. Yes, and they're vegan. That's why they don't eat that pig. They're vegan. Cornelius and Turkey, the turkey and Esther the Wonder Pig. There you go. That's them right there. And he's wearing a
feed the pig grass. Feed the pig grass and apples. Then you're eating a vegan pig.
I mean, whatever floats your boat, if that's what you like, but I just can't imagine. Here's a better picture, guys. It's coming up sometime today. There you go. That's just a better picture. But I can't imagine having these two in my house. Though Cornelius is super cool. Super cool. I knew someone who had a small pet potbelly named Frances Bacon. She was more house trained than their dachshunds, but she was still little. Yeah. Well, a lot of people that buy these potbelly pigs who think they're gonna have like the smallest pig and it's so cute and all of that, they are lied to. They're either lied to or it's not a guarantee. Like it's a pick of the litter. It's like a genetic thing. And sometimes you get a small pig and sometimes you don't. And this is a perfect example. Esther is like 800 pounds. So you're not getting a really, really small pig. But yeah. And I'm getting a Sherrod Brown freaking advertisement. Thanks a lot, Sherrod Brown. But yeah, Frances had her own bottom kitchen cabinet with old Tupperware to play with. That's really cool, actually. I like that. But I don't know. I don't want that in my house. My mom's friend has a pig, and they grow tusks like out like this, like long teeth, and you have to like get those shaved off or removed. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it only has one grown out like this, and it has like this really weird jagged tooth. It's really strange. Very, very strange. Pigs are so weird. But yeah. No, I don't want to leave the site. Something to think about when you are buying animals is you don't ever know. You have no idea. Oh, okay. So I'm sorry, I got sidetracked, but I hope you guys understand a little bit about potatoes. I got a cough. Give me 1 second. So, okay, the next thing we were going to talk about was onions. And I suck at onions, guys. Potatoes and onions are the worst for me. Just the worst. How to grow onions. Let's check it out and see what the internet has to say. And I'll tell you. Okay, first of all, you have to know if you live in the long day or the short day area. I need a long day. I need a long day onion. Yeah, make sure you give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it, guys, because it helps me out. So, okay, so we're at the long day onions. That's where I am. You may need a short day if you are below, in the southern part of the United States. So, how do you like to grow your onions, Lewis? Do you like to grow them from seed, or do you like to grow them from bulbs?
I got onion starts.
Starts? Okay.
They're I got a couple of bags of bulbs here.
Okay. I only like doing it from bulbs. Now, I've watched M.I. Gardner videos about how he did his own bulbs and how he started them. It takes like 3 months to actually get a good set going. And he grew his own, and then he used those and planted those when it was time. The best bulbs I ever bought, or starts, I got from Dixondale Farms from Joe, and they were really just awesome. They were probably the best starts I ever had. So anyway, I have yet to grow like a ton of onions. I've grown a couple decent ones, but never anything fabulous. Now, let's see. How long does it take to grow? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Bulbs. Okay. Now I bought a couple of packs of them, right? Like I got 150 bulbs, and will they last a month before I plant them?
Yes. If you keep them in a cool, dry place. Don't put them in the bathroom or put them where the sun's shining, because then they'll start growing. You want to keep them in a cool, dark place. I've actually had mine for up to a year, and I planted them. So you can do that. Oh, Dixondale is freaking awesome. They have the Elsa Craig onions. Those are my favorites. My dream has always been to grow like a 10-pound onion. I've always wanted to do that. Elsa Craigs would get huge. Yeah, Dixondale has them. You can buy a bunch of them for inexpensive, and they ship them to you. It's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful onions. Okay, so how long does it take to grow? They require a minute of between 90 to 100 days to mature from seed, which is around 4 months. 4 months. And yeah, they take about 3 months to actually get some kind of growth on them. I suck at growing. Christy, if you can grow onions, girl, you go ahead and do it, because I am horrible at it. Are they easy to grow for beginners? Now, they say that they're easy to grow. I don't believe that they're easy to grow. And my problem is, too, if I get the sets and I put them in, they never get any bigger than that set. And it doesn't matter if I fertilize. It doesn't matter what I do to it. It just stays the same. Very well could be my soil. But the way I see it is, if I can't grow a ton of onions, then there's no point. I'm not going to grow them anymore, because I'm not just going to grow 3 or 4 onions. I want to grow enough to sustain me throughout the year. That is so the one year I grew like 200 sets, and it just was horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So let's see. What is the amount to plant onions? In the spring is when you typically want to start onions. 6 weeks transplanting to the ground once the soil is at least 50 degrees. That's another problem I have, okay? And our spring is so sporadic that I could start my onions in May, and by the time July came around, they would just be a mess. Like, I wouldn't have any growth. Yeah. I need someone on here that can explain onions better, because I just suck at growing them. And I also think I don't have the patience. They also don't need a whole lot of water. You want to water them like once a week. You don't want to keep watering them. Here it gets like really hot, especially in June. Like, it gets to be in the 90s and stuff. And it's like, okay, like, do I water these, or do I just let them fry? Like, what do I do? Do onions need full sun? Yes, they require full sun. So if you plant them, they need full sun. And I don't know, what other questions did you have?
Oh, what kind of fertilizer do they need?
Okay, I know that they need bone meal. So you definitely want to put that in there. And I have done that before. A lot of people are like, can I use Miracle Grow? No, I would never use Miracle Grow on anything. It's just my personal. You need a lot of nitrogen-based fertilizers and stuff like that. The best fertilizer is a balanced fertilizer. It's like 10, 20, 10. That's like the best, I guess. So you definitely want to get something like that. An all-purpose one, I guess, would work, but I don't know if you want to get something specifically for your onions. What do you add in the soil for onions? Yeah, phosphorus, P, and potassium, K. So you want something that's high in phosphorus and high in potassium to put on your beds for that.
Chicken bones, banana peels,
Yep.
and manure.
Yep. Yes, I love green onions, those little ones. Like, I could just love them. I just would clean them and put salt on them and just eat them. They're my favorite. And I always end up getting them from the grocery store because I can never grow them. I don't know what my problem is.
They're not hard to grow if you know how to tell what to look for, right? Because I thought that I bought green onions one year and I thought they were like the white onions, like the seeds. And so they learned that I just buy them from the store.
Mm-hmm.
I need like buy 5 or 6 of the stems with the roots still, and you can replant them and cut them down 3 or 4 times.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, they'll regrow if they got the roots in that, and they're on the shelves where they get a mist. You know, on the vegetable section where some of the vegetables still get a mist.
That's another problem I think that I've had in the past is like, typically I've only ever planted stuff from Walmart or something like that. I've never planted good onion seeds or sets. And then I got the Dixondale Farm ones. But I think my problem with the Dixondale ones is the fact it was totally my fault because I got great onion sets. My problem was I didn't put enough bone meal on them and stuff. I didn't fertilize them enough. I think that's what my problem was. And then they suggest that you do a soil test to see what all you have in your soil. I never did that. And then another problem I had, I think also, is the fact that I had like a ton of weeds and I just couldn't keep up with it. Because in between my onions, I was getting tons of weeds and they don't like that. Then they're competing. So I think it just had problems altogether.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem. I was getting a lot of weeds too, and I couldn't pick them all. So some of them were decent size and some of them weren't so decent size.
Yeah.
But for sets, they turned out pretty good for even having weeds and maybe not enough fertilizer.
Yeah, so I think that was my problem with the onions. And then another thing is like every year I think, okay, I want to grow onions, but it's always too late in the year. And it's too late by the time I plant them. I think that's another thing. It's like usually onions are like a last minute thought and I forget about it. And then when I plant them, it's too late. So yeah, I'm not very good at growing onions, guys. I failed in the past. You can watch some of my videos where I have planted onions and it's just been an utmost disaster. So onions and potatoes, like it would just been a complete disappointment. And we try our best, but it's just never, but we are really good at growing other things. So we focused more of our attention on growing other things other than potatoes and onions. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get my garlic planted, my potatoes planted, and hopefully my onions planted all at the same time this month.
Oh, okay.
I just got to turn shit over in the garden, I got a 5-gallon bucket so far of bone meal, chicken bones and eggshells and coffee grinds and banana peels. And I got to add some Epsom salts to it.
Yeah.
And then that down, and then just start planting. Forget waiting a week or two for it to start kicking in.
Yeah.
Just a matter of soil now.
Yeah, apparently potassium is considered the most essential nutrition for an onion. So if you can get a ton of potassium, you could put that on there, and that is supposed to be something that they thrive from. You can overwater them, so try not to water them too much. Do you need to prune them? Yes and no. You don't want their tips to fall over too soon. So I've always trimmed mine.
I heard something. It's better to bend them because the bugs can get in the shoots and get into the onions.
Oh, that's actually a really great idea.
Yeah, because they're round, right? And if you ever cut the onion roots, it's like exactly like a green onion, right? It's a shoot that goes right down to the roots or to wherever it's going to. And I asked that to somebody, and no, I just bend. It's better. I find it better, not necessarily better to bend it over, but the bugs can get right into the onion itself.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so did I answer? Hopefully I answered some of your questions. I'm just not very good at growing onions, so hopefully I've answered your questions on onions and potatoes. And
yeah, you did.
Okay, good. All right, you guys. Well, I have lots of things I have to do today. I've already been on here for 2 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and get off. I want to thank you guys, each and every one of you, for coming on my chat today. I know we got a little off topic there for a minute, but that's okay. We were enjoying a live chat. So thank you guys for that. Hopefully I gave you some information about potatoes and onions. Like I said, I'm not one to grow those and grow them successfully. And when I do, I will definitely video that and document it to let you guys know, hey, I grew these.
I found, because the first year that I grew them was in Shed Wars, and I got 70 pounds that year, and I was surprised. And I grew them in tires and Rubbermaid totes. Just made sure it was well drained, right? Loose soil, everything you basically said, loose soil, sandy soil, kind of, right? And add the fertilizers. It's just a matter of when you plant them. I guess time of the year would be the best time of the year to plant them. And because keep adding the fertilizer to it when you can, because it will wash out. And but yeah, like I remember going and digging back up in the springtime, and I've still found potatoes the size of my fist.
Wow, that's awesome! Actually, I wish I would have had that.
Yeah, so I was lucky, right?
Huh?
I was lucky that year.
Yeah.
I had also had a lot of triple mix in that year, right? But you can only build up your bed so much, right? Like how much dirt are you really going to be buying before you start just buying the nutrients that your garden needs?
Yeah. So hopefully that was it for you guys. If you have any questions, you can always email me with your questions. I don't care. I don't get bombarded that way. So you can always message me if you have me on Facebook, or you can message me through email. I have an email address out there for you guys. So what did he fertilize his taters with? Christy wanted to know.
Oh, basically chicken bones, which is your phosphorus stuff, banana peels, which is your potassium, coffee grinds, which is your nitrogen, and egg shells, which is your calcium, and Epsom salts, which is your magnesium,
Nice.
and a little bit manure for just the extra. Like I fluffed it into the dirt, and it was triple mixed the year that I did get the 70 pounds.
Yeah.
I had a lot of triple mix in there, so
Nice.
and it was all loose, and it was in, like I said, the tires and Rubbermaid totes, and I like drilled holes in the bottom for really good drainage. But I put a lot of not a lot, maybe like a third of the Rubbermaid totes. I filled up with logs, and then filled it up with the rest with dirt and manure, and I just planted it in there. And
Okay. That sounds great. It sounds like you had a lot of different things in your bed, and that's probably what we need as well to grow. So
yeah, the chicken bones there, Christy Bates. What I do with them, and the best way for to deal with them is I don't know if you make a bone broth, but even at that, you let them. I boil them or let them simmer for 24 hours in a big pot. Then once I make my bone broth, I'll strain out all the bones and that, and then put them into the oven at 280 until you can break the thigh bone with your hands. And then I put them in a couple of bags, like plastic bags, and I wrap a shirt around it, take a hammer to it, and break them down that way. And then I will stick them into a blender and blend them up until they become almost like a full powder. Like they're not going to be like a full powder, but it'll be like a sugar almost. There'll be some little chunks in there, but it'll be like a powder almost, and it's ready for the garden.
there you go.
At that, and it'll take about 2 weeks. Like I said, like you do that the same thing with banana peels and eggshells, and it takes about 2 weeks for it to, and it's a slow release, right? So it'll take about 2 weeks before it starts doing something.
Okay, you guys. Hopefully you got something from this. And I'm got to get out of here, but I want to thank you all for coming in, giving us a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Make sure you watch the videos. I have a newer video out, so you can take a look at that. And we will see you all next time. Thanks for coming in. And like I said, if you have any questions, you can always ask me directly, email me, or you can find me on Facebook, and we will see you around. Bye, guys.